What's up, y'all? Pat here. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm here to help you make more money, save more time, and help more people too. And today we're going to be talking about creating the perfect tutorial. Tutorials are great ways to build more exposure and authority for your brand, to get people to find you and know and like and trust you, and ultimately and hopefully a way for you to make more money. So all that more today in episode 102 of the Income Stream. If you saw the other stream that went live earlier, don't worry about that. We just got to get started. Welcome in.
This is the Income Stream to help you achieve your dream, all while we keep it clean. This is the Income Stream. It's the kind of show where you can come and go, but then you leave inspired with no fee required. The Income Stream with Pat Flynn.
What's up, y'all? Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you're having an amazing start to your week. If you're watching the replay, this is a live show, which means we have a live audience with us, as you can likely see in the chat. But make sure to stick around because I'm still going to be taking you through content. This isn't just a hour-long conversation. This is an hour-long presentation with interactions and the live chat here, also known as the Quaranteam, also known as the best community in the world, asks amazing questions that can hopefully help and serve you too. So welcome everybody. Thank you so much for being here. Quick hello. We got Save Like a Bear, You Do It. What's up? We got Geeks Thrive, Chris in the house. We got the other Chris in the house. We got Scully. We got April. We got Doug. We got Sherry, Carrie, Jules, Karma, Hey Archer, Vicky, the usual suspects, and the amazing people here. And if you're brand new, thank you so much for joining me today. Make sure you hit that subscribe button so that you can get access to all future episodes, all future videos coming out here on the channel. And again, my name is Pat Flynn. I've been an entrepreneur for over a decade now, 12 years, in fact, 12 years and 2 weeks, essentially. And I'm just so thankful that you're here so that I can teach you. And one of the best things that I've done that I've learned works really, really well over time is creating tutorials. And that could be tutorials for your YouTube channel. It could be tutorials for your blog, step-by-step through a certain process or through a certain product or service or tool or software, or even a podcast. I've done tutorials on podcasts as well. And all of them do some amazing things to, like I said earlier, get more exposure for your brand, right? Because people are looking up how to do certain things. And if you can show up and you can teach them how to do it right, they're going to continue to come back to you. It's an easy way to provide a small win, which I love to offer, so that people can come back for more, and then you can offer them bigger wins. Hashtag bruh. We've got Hey Archer with the super chat. Thank you so much for that, my friend. I appreciate you. Another great thing about tutorials is it provides a way for people to begin to start trusting you because you're showing a certain expertise or a certain knowledge about a particular topic that other people want to know more about. You happen to be there, you happen to have experience with this, and people are going to continue to come back to you. And number three, it can also turn into and develop some amazing partnerships. A lot of tutorials that I've done for certain products and software have turned into amazing partnerships where people have reached out. Rafal, thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate you, my friend. Francis says, OMG, so perfect. How do you know exactly what I need to learn? This is a great question. In fact, this is where we want to start. We want to understand what should we be actually creating a tutorial about? And there's a few ways to discover this. Number one, the most important thing you need to do is start having conversations or listening or paying attention to and investigating what's happening in your audience, in your crowd, for your people. We want to know what they want to know more about. This could be as simple as understanding what other search terms they're using, right? So keyword research tools can be an important tool for you to understand what you can create a tutorial about next. But the best tool is a conversation, a real life conversation with your audience, whether that's online through a live chat like this, or perhaps in the comments in a replay of something like this, or the comment section of a video or a podcast or a blog, or a real life conversation with a person, right? In a group setting or even on a DM, right? These are all different ways to do it online. I love doing this offline, however. When we ever get a chance, hopefully crossing fingers, to meet in person again at conferences and at events and conventions, I love having conversations with people in those places because you get the real deal. You hear a person's intonation, you hear a person's realness when it comes to, well, what do you need help with right now? And asking questions like, well, what have you done to try and help yourself with that right now? And why didn't it work out for you? Or what have been the biggest struggles for you related to this? This is all intel. This is all information for you to help you yourself understand how you can make this tutorial the best thing possible. And the framework that we're going to be going over today in terms of these tutorials is this: action. And yes, that's me without a beard back when I was a young kid. But we're going to be talking about action, taking action, but actually going through the acronym of action today. I love creating little acronyms to help ourselves understand what we should be doing and how to do these certain things. Probably the best thing you can do before we get into the action and the acronym is to look up other tutorials about this thing that you're about to create a tutorial about. And the best place to go to would be to either go to Google, or my favorite place in the world to look up tutorials, especially if you're gonna be doing a video, is YouTube, okay? And let me know in the chat if you have any ideas for tutorials. Pop in the tutorial right now that you are coming up with, or perhaps one that you've come up with in the past and how it's worked out for you. And hopefully you can get some more value here so that you can put something else into your next tutorial and have it perform even better for you. Now, I'm not gonna get into the specifics of how to title your videos, how to create a thumbnail for them. I mean, I think those things are very important and absolutely important. We've had entire conversations here on the live chat before during the income stream, somewhere in the, I think, 60s or 70s or whatever, just about the thumbnails and titles of our episodes and of our videos and of our blog posts, the subject lines of emails, and how important those, what I like to call moments of distractions are. Those moments where a person's either gonna fly by and not pay attention, or stop and click or tap to go through and find more of you. But I love going to YouTube to find other tutorials. And I wanna share with you a video that was a very successful tutorial that I recently created based on a keyword that I found and something that I was doing, right? When you have your own personal experience with these products, creating a tutorial is so much easier, yo. Like, I can't stress that enough. When you yourself have used or have gone through this process or have used this tool, it makes the tutorial so much easier, yeah, for sure, for you to create it. It's hard to create a tutorial about something you haven't created yourself, but more importantly, it becomes easier for the person on the other end to know that you're legit, to know that you're actually real and have done this yourself too. Because a lot of times when people see these tutorials, that's what they want as well. They want to know they're not alone, and they want to know somebody who can help them through a process, right? You are their Yoda, they are the Luke Skywalker. You make them the hero by actually fulfilling this thing that they want to do, and everybody's happy in the end there. So, okay, cool. I like what I'm seeing here. K-Walk says, tutorial and admin to do before the start of school. And I think K-Walk, I saw that your first name was Kathy. Let me know. I think I saw that yesterday. My tutorial would be on dealing with the stronghold within, emotions, thoughts, and actions that we want to change and act be different. Nice. Let's see. Flyride says, yo, it's been my whole online business since 2011. What's been his online business? Tutorials, right? They are some of my most popular videos. So let me show you an example of a video right now that I created. And this is for the, let's see, system audio. I gotta click to update so I can get system audio. I think it'll work. Let me see. Okay, well, I'm gonna install later. I don't wanna end the broadcast. Okay, so I'm gonna click on this and hopefully it will play through. So this is called, this is a tutorial for a software. In fact, it's the software I'm using right now called Ecamm Live. And what's really cool about this software is it makes it easy on a Mac for you to stream. And pay attention to how I start this video. The hooks are really important to this. How can you capture a person's attention? Now, also pay attention to the thumbnail. There's like a lot of red and things that you don't really understand, but I point them out so you're curious and you click through. The text says live streaming made easy. That's different than what's on the title here. This is the best live streaming software for Mac, because that's the keywords that I was going for. Best live streaming software for Mac. It's crazy. So anyway, I'm gonna click play on this. And again, 2 months ago, 68,000 views, right? So I'm gonna click play and hopefully the sound will come through. Broadcasting pop-up. Okay, good, I think it is. I'm gonna go from the beginning. So right now you're looking at my regular camera view. However, if we push this out just a, now you should see all the things I have at my disposal on my desktop that I see when I broadcast live. And when I conduct my live streams on Facebook and YouTube and Twitch or others, now I have access to making it the most entertaining, informative, and engaging live stream possible. And I wanna offer that to you too. So in this video, I'm gonna show you how to use a tool called Ecamm Live, which at this moment in time is just Mac only. I do have resources for PC users below too in the description, but I wanna show you how to use these tools from all things like how to, while broadcasting, pop up a comment on your screen like this, how to do some fun popovers like maybe this thank you here, or maybe I wanna do a countdown timer like that. Maybe with just the push of a button, I can do a full screen layover like this while broadcasting live. And even how to, while broadcasting live, share your screen or even a view that allows you to write like this. So if that's something that you're interested in learning, stick around because I'm gonna show you all the bells and whistles. Okay, so that's the hook of this video. And again, this does the first part of this whole process. Remember, I'm talking about the acronym ACTION, A-C-T-I-O-N. And the first part is this. We need to make this tutorial appealing. We need to make the product and the software appealing. We need to make it the tutorial, the blog post, the podcast episode, the video that we're creating. We need to make it appealing, meaning interesting, meaning, wow, this is exactly what I need. Meaning, okay, I'm willing to dedicate the next 10 minutes of my life or 15 minutes, 20 minutes, however long it takes to go through this tutorial to you. Thank you. So the appeal is really, really important, right? Really, really important. So how might we include appeal inside our tutorials? Well, this is why going into YouTube and you look up other tutorials that exist, look them up and go, is this appealing to me or is this not? Especially the ones that are starting or that are ranking really high for those certain keywords on YouTube, for example, or on Google for a blog. Really understand, okay, what's the hook and how can you make your hook better? On YouTube specifically, if you can get people to watch your videos longer than others, then you're going to do really, really well because YouTube wants people to stick around, right? So this is exactly what I did. I saw a lot of Justin's videos. I saw a lot of Ecamm Live's own videos, and I even outrank some of their own videos now for certain keywords related to this tool. What's been really cool about this is after almost 70,000 views in the last 2 months by creating this tutorial, I've had new people come into the brand. Over 1,000 new subscribers to the channel have come in as a result of this sort of mechanism, this particular video. As a result of that, we've also, since ads are included on it, we've made I think a few $100s, but more than that, we've made over $6,000 in earnings from affiliate commissions from this tutorial too. So this is another reason why we might benefit from creating these tutorials, because you can do a partnership or an affiliate relationship with these companies. And if you entice people enough, if you make that appeal to the person who finds this, then it's a win for everybody. It's a win for them because they got a tutorial on how to do something quicker, faster, sooner, more conveniently. It's a win for you because you're getting paid a commission from promoting this particular tool. And you are also helping the company make money, in which case this can then develop into a partnership. And this is exactly what has happened. I've become one of the top affiliates for Ecamm only in the last 2 months. They've upgraded me to a higher commission rate and all this other stuff and fun things that they're offering too, which is really cool. So breaking things down so they're easy to understand, right? This is essentially what it is we're doing. However, we need to add some appeal. So did you see how in the beginning of this video, how I sort of just do a pattern interrupt such that it really captures people's attention, right? So right now you're looking at my regular camera view. However, if we push this out just now you should see all the things I have at my So that is a little pattern interrupt that I like to include. I do this again in another tutorial that I do, how to create a slide presentation. I mean, look at that. Number one, 1.4 million views 5 years ago. This still continues to do work for me. But watch the beginning. No bullet points because bullets kill people. Okay.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Pat Flynn here, and welcome to episode 17 of SPI TV. In this episode, you're going to learn how to create an awesome slide deck for the next time you're up on stage or doing any sort of presentation. Anything that requires a slide deck, I'm going to help you make it look better, much better than what you see here. There's a lot of things you shouldn't be doing, a lot of things that I do see out there, and hopefully this will help guide you so that you can create an awesome slide deck and impress the people who you are presenting to, have a more memorable presentation, and you're going to be able to stand out from all the other presenters out there who are going to be creating slide decks the normal, boring way.
So this was probably my best hook, and it is no surprise that this video has 1.4 million views because of the strength of the hook. And in fact, I remember 5 years ago writing the hook for this and working really hard to make it very appealing. Let me play the hook part again. Listen to the exact words I use about how it'll help the person, and ultimately, what's it gonna do for them? This is the appeal part of this video.
Guide you so that you can create an awesome slide deck and impress the people who you are presenting to.
So impress people you are presenting to.
Have a more memorable presentation.
And
You're going to be able to stand out from all the other presenters out there who are
You're going to stand out from all the other presenters out there.
going to be creating slide decks the normal, boring way.
And how to make sure you're not going to be boring like everybody else, right? So, and yes, Michael, you're right. Just remember the fonts. If you are going to do a presentation on another computer, bring the fonts over, or else you're going to be screwed like I was in 2012. Okay, so this is really key. The appeal. How can you incentivize? Essentially, you have to sell this tutorial to the people who are about to watch it. Does this make sense, chat? Let me know in the chat if this makes sense. I also want you to help validate for the people watching this later that this is probably the most important thing. We need to make this appealing. Okay, so let me take another sip of coffee here. So in your tutorials, perhaps that you've created in the past, are you selling it? When people finally land there in some way, shape, or form, whether it's through a search or a link on your website or a link from somebody else's website, are you in fact selling them on the minutes now and potentially hours that they have to do to create this thing that it is that you're doing, right? So making sure this makes sense. Douglas says, wow, this makes me want to go back and look at all your other tutorials. Nice. Not all my tutorials are perfect. In fact, this is just a culmination and a climax of a bunch of different things that I've learned over time. And sometimes I get it right, sometimes I don't, but hopefully this helps. Let me find one more video just to give you an example, how to create a perfect about page. When you see this thumbnail, you're going to laugh, by the way. Actually, about page, Pat Flynn. Whoa, look at that thumbnail. That looks familiar. How to write the perfect about page. So let's see how I do on the hook.
If you're
here.
creating any content online, doesn't matter if it's on a blog or a podcast or a video channel, or maybe even on social media like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, whatever, you need to focus on having a great about or bio section. It's really important you nail this down because a lot of people go to that to understand whether or not they should continue to follow and consume your content. So we're going to work in this video through 5 different factors to make sure that you include on your about page exactly what it needs to get people to follow and subscribe to you. And if
Okay, so that actually wasn't bad at all. And in fact, I did one thing here that I didn't do in the other videos, and I want to play this again, and I'll pause it when I do this thing.
Hey, if you're creating any content online, doesn't matter if it's on a blog or a podcast or a video channel, or maybe even on social media like Facebook.
So do you see what I did here? I casted a wide net. This is about something very specific, an about page. However, I said, whether it's for a blog, a podcast, a video channel, or even on social media like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, this allows a person to go, oh, okay, this is for me because I've captured them in that one spot. And that's why I say a bio or an about page, so that I can include these principles for all kinds of people, no matter what it is that they're focusing on, but it's still that specific thing. So I casted a wide net there, and then I had a really good hook about, this can mean the difference between people sticking around or people leaving, right, who want to learn more. So there we go. That is appeal. The appeal is the selling of this thing so that people will want to actually spend more time with you and here. And 214 people in the chat, thank you so much. I only see 69 thumbs up. Hook me up with a thumbs up. For the person who left the thumbs down, I'm so grateful that you're here, and I hope that you have a better day. Okay, so clarity is the next one. So remember, the acronym ACTION. A was appeal. C is clarity. We need to make these tutorials clear. If your tutorial is not clear, people are out, right? You can sell something like, hey, spend the next 10 minutes with me going through this tutorial, but as soon as you start making people confused, they're out, right? We need to absolutely be clear and provide clarity, right? We're not just clear in why this is important, which is the appeal. We're just clear in how we are presenting this information. If you start with the hardest thing, it's going to be a tough journey for you, for sure. We need to make this easy. And this is where I feel my superpower is in the online space, especially related to these tutorials. And in fact, I want to do more tutorials. I just found that over time, I've been bored with them. But I also know that they've worked out really well. I think the reason why this Ecamm one that I did recently worked out really well is because I was excited about live streaming. And it was right when I was in the middle of filming the income stream in around episode 30 that this came out. And of course, we hit episode 100 lately. Anybody attend episode 100 and that celebration? Thank you all so much for that. That was a wonderful day. But anyway, clarity. We need to make these tutorials clear. So what does this mean? This means using language that our audience can respond to. This means breaking things down into a step-by-step process. This means taking the things that are hard that you just can't avoid and helping people feel better about the fact that, well, maybe it's not going to be easy right off the bat, but helping people through, if it's on a video, visually and through text and how you break it down, make it easier for them to go through something and to make something more convenient for them ultimately, then that's going to work out really, really, really well for you. All right, so make sure you are clear. And part of this means just trying and sharing this information maybe once or twice and failing. It might mean that you might share this information with other people first, maybe a group of people on Facebook to validate and test. Maybe it's for a subset of audience members who are perhaps super fans in your audience. Maybe it's to friends and family and your network, right? We need to provide clarity first before we can then, or we need to understand what clear actually means. And this is the other part about this that's very difficult, right? There's this thing called the curse of knowledge. Have you ever heard of the curse of knowledge? It was first mentioned, at least in my life, when I first read about it in a book called Made to Stick by Chip and Dan Heath. And this is a great book about why other things get remembered and why other things don't. And there's this thing called the curse of knowledge. And it's when you know something, it's very difficult to remember what it's like not to know that thing, right? And because you don't know that feeling anymore, it can be very much a disconnect between how you tell somebody something and how that person who hasn't heard that thing yet receives it. I don't know if you've ever been in a conversation when you're trying to teach somebody something, perhaps a kid, right? And you're getting so frustrated because you know how this thing is done. You've done it 1,000 times before, and you're trying to teach this person or this kid or what have you a process, and they just don't get it, right? Like when they're trying to tie their shoes or something. You're like, you just make the two rabbit ears and you tie them together. Oh my gosh. Like, can you please? We're late to school. Very thankful that we didn't have to go through, like April spent 2 days, just boom, tie it, bam, like they're done, which is really cool. So April's really good at offering tutorials for the kids. I'm pretty good at offering tutorials for you guys. Anyway, it can be hard because you kind of forget, well, rabbit ears, I'm confused. I've never tied a knot before, and it can be very confusing. And oftentimes, even if you're presenting information that makes sense, if you don't empathize with where your audience is, then it's not going to work out very well. It's the curse of knowledge. And this is something that I battle every single day because you know that I've done these things before that I teach. I don't teach anything that I've never done before. However, I have to remember what it was like to not do these things or to have not done these things before so that I can better help you, so that I can better understand what you might need help with. And this is why people who come into my courses like Power Up Podcasting say, this is exactly the information I needed, and it's presented in a way that was so easy to go through, right? Because I literally in that course go, okay, this plugs into here, this button does this. And for people who forget sometimes, you might skip over those things and confuse people over time, right? So we need to make these things easy to consume. Hashtag, bruh. What's up, everybody? Rex says, working with kids requires patience. Absolutely. You Do It says, yes, it's kind of a imposter syndrome where you think you aren't good enough to teach someone because you hang out with everyone who already understands it, not realizing others want to learn it. Oh, that's the other part of this, right? I talked about the fact that you know something and it's hard to teach somebody else. But the other part about this is because you know something, you think everybody else knows it too already, and you forget that other people, I love that you said this, you do it. I forget all the time that I have this information that could be useful for people because this is stuff I do every day, and it doesn't seem as important. However, we are not where our audience is often. We are just steps ahead of them. We have to be reminded about what works for them too. The curse of knowledge is so real. It's absolutely real. All right, great job, y'all. Let's keep going here. So action. Whoa, that was a loud action. I'm sorry. Action. A for appeal. C for clarity. T for tone. Your tone in this tutorial matters a lot. It absolutely matters because the tone, in terms of how the tutorial feels, is going to help a person actually do this thing and be encouraged or get deflated and not be motivated at all. So tone can mean a number of things. It can mean, is it inspirational? Is it motivational? Is it actually something that encourages people along the way? And this is where I would encourage you to stay, is within that realm of tone, because I've seen tutorials, especially on YouTube, when I'm looking up how to do something like on Photoshop, or I'm using Final Cut Pro, and I'm trying to watch a tutorial on how to do something. By the way, you don't have to put your face on camera like I do. You saw that slides video. I just had a screen recording of some slides, right? And my face never showed up on camera, although my face was in one of those slides. My earliest days were tutorials on how to use things like my Bamboo tablet or some other tools that I was using, keyword research tools. I never put my face on camera, so you don't have to put your face on camera. However, I remember, whether your face is on camera or not, I remember recently finding some tutorials on Final Cut Pro, and like you could just tell, like the tone of the person's voice was like, all right, in this video, I'm gonna show you how to do this thing. It's like so annoying that this thing exists, but let me walk you through this process, because it's something we all have to deal with. And I wish it wasn't like this, but I mean, it's just what we have to do. So I'm gonna hopefully make this easy for you. I'm just like, okay, you're giving me negative vibes, dude. Like, are you okay? Do you want me to come over and like hang out with you a little bit? Because you just sound not very excited about this, and it's not making me excited either. At the same time, you don't want to be fake either. You don't want to have to go, all right, guys, today you're going to learn how to copy and paste in your Apple iPhone, because it's, oh my gosh, the most amazing thing. It's going to be unbelievable. I have 3 tips for you. Number 3 is going to blow your mind. And it's all about how to copy and paste something on Apple. It's just like, what? Okay. So yes. And again, this is a part of the benefit. That was really weird. See, that seems like I want to take a bath now, because that just was not me. It seems, but anyway, this is the reason why I love going to YouTube when I'm doing my research and creating my copy for my hook, and actually doing research for these videos that I want to create. Because my goal and your goal should be to outrank the heck out of everybody that exists there already, right? So your thumbnail and title, absolutely important, but what's in your video is important as well, of course. So watch those other videos, see what the tone is, how can you insert yourself in there in a real way, in an authentic way, so that you can actually encourage people and inspire people and motivate people all the way through, right? All the way through. Yeah, you definitely don't also want to sound like you can't be bothered, right? You sound if you can't be bothered. Let's see, some good conversations here as well in the chat. OMG, tone was so important for me yesterday. I had a session with a teen and thought my tone was good, fun, so wrong. They wanted to feel like an adult, so my fun tone felt condescending to them. Very good insight. How did you know that, Francis? I'm curious. Did you reach out to them or what have you? Matching or being aware of how your tone is being received when one-on-one or Zooming. Yes. This being said, however, you want to be authentic. You don't want to pretend to be like somebody else. And also, it can be very easy to fall into the trap of seeing somebody else's tutorial and then creating a tutorial just like them. I saw, Peter McKinnon, for example, created a video that was like a 5-minute hack video on photography, and the thumbnail with the knife on the lens. And there were so many other people creating tutorials that were similar, which is cool. However, they were doing the exact same thing. The top-down shot, throwing all the stuff on the table, the knife on the lens for a thumbnail. It was just like, yo, everybody knows that this is a Peter McKinnon type tutorial, or anybody who starts a vlog with time lapse knows it's going to be very similar to like what Casey Neistat has done. You're going to have to create your own style, and you're going to have to create your own tone, intonation, intonality, and again, try to be encouraging along the way too, right? And when there are parts or moments within this tutorial where things might be hard or difficult, put yourself in the shoes of those who are there watching with you. You don't want to also be fake and go, hey, this thing that's really difficult is actually really easy to do. No, be honest. Just be like, hey, this part of this software, just letting you know, for those of you watching, is really difficult to use. But it's okay. I fought my way through it, and this is why you're here, so you can not have to do as much work as me. So here's how I would recommend going through this, right? Okay. Well done, Pat, says Rafal. Cool. Is this helping you? Chat, let me know if this tutorial is helping you just kind of work your way through how you might in the future create a tutorial and make it a little bit better, make it a little bit more incentivized for people to go watch through, and hopefully have you take better care of your audience, but also have you be just a little bit more directional in your approach. So let me know in the chat, because that gives me energy, and I want to give that energy to you. Cool. Let's do this. Okay, so that was tone. So we had appeal, we had clarity, tone, and next we have incentive. During your tutorial video, we need to continue to provide incentive for people to watch all the way through or to read all the way through and to do and fulfill this thing that we're teaching. A lot of the things that we teach in our tutorials are not easy, but we need to continue to remind people why this is important, right? So in the middle of your videos, remembering that you need to express why people are here and why they need to finish and actually do the things, right? So incentive, right? What's the incentive for watching all the way through? Not talking about, okay, make sure you stick around to the end of this video or read to the end so you can get access to this special giveaway. That's not the kind of incentive I'm talking about. So let's say, for example, this Ecamm live video that I was talking, or actually the video that's popping up right here, right? This one about the About page.
Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, whatever. You need to focus on having a great about or bio section. It's really important you nail this down because a lot of people go to that to understand whether or not they should continue to follow and consume your content. So we're gonna work in this video through 5 different factors.
So in this video, I talk about these 5 different factors about creating a great About page. I'm not gonna go into that right now, but that thread of this is the thing that gets a person to know whether they should continue to stick with you or not is the continued thread and incentive along the way. So all along the way, tip number 3, here's tip number 3, and this is why this helps people stick all the way through, which is why we're here, right? So this is the reason, this is why, and then we move on to the next one, and that there's a reason why. That is the common thread. Whatever the hook is, you wanna continue to bring that hook in down the road, right? So the incentive. Also, we need some incentive in terms of if it's a software or some sort of thing that you're demonstrating, right? We need to show people that what can happen after you do this, right? Not just tell them, but try to show them, right? If you can provide any sort of what I like to call future pacing. So whether this ends up in the early sections of your video or especially throughout, here's what happens when you do this. You get, and then proof. We need proof. That's the word I was looking for. But yes. So proof that this thing that you're teaching actually works, right? So what happens after you do this? What happens after you create this? What's life like on the other end? If you can provide examples from your own case studies, personally, that's great. If you can provide examples of your own students who have gone through this, that's even better because it shows that you are the authority here and you're teaching and you're helping people all the way to. Dr. Tanya says, thumbs up, just-in-time learning. Absolutely. So many people don't know their incentive, the why. I believe there is so much more focus placed on the how-to rather than the why-to. Yes, the why is important, and this is essentially what we're talking about. Thank you, April, for popping in here and sharing that. But providing a thread line all the way through so that halfway through the video, once things start to get a little heavy, right? And that's where you want to include the heavy stuff in the middle of the video. The beginning of the videos, make it easy, right? This is the whole making it clear, right? And making it easy and actionable. Have the beginning parts of the video be the easy to do, easy to understand components, and then start to get a little heavier more toward the middle because people are now incentivized. They've invested some time up front with you, and now you can get to the heavy parts, but we still need to offer the reason why and to continue to have people go through. So much value, Karma. Thank you, Karma. I appreciate that. I know that you do a lot of tutorial videos as well, so that means a lot. So the thread line, the why, the incentive. What I would do is in your tutorial videos, if you have ones in the past, I would say that incentive or at least a mention of the why should be there every 2 minutes, right? At least every 2 minutes, if not more. Don't spend all your time on that because people do want the how-to. What I love about the how-tos is they're also great quick wins for people. Hey guys, in this video, I'm gonna teach you 10 things on how to do this. And then the first one, boom, super easy, very valuable. Oh my gosh, tip number 1, I already got value. Great, let me stick this through, or okay, let me just like pause everything else and focus on this right now. Now I can walk people through. But again, keeping people incentivized along the way so they get to tip number 10 and then take the action and then are incentivized to take the action. That's gonna be really key. And I have had a lot of people, in fact, I had a message, I'm not gonna pull it out right now, but someone who is a frequent viewer here on the income stream messaged me and said, Pat, you've inspired me to start going live. And he took a shot of his desk, and he literally had the same tools that I had, because I share at patflynn.com/live setup my setup for what I do to go live. And he's using Ecamm. He's using the Stream Deck. He's getting an iPad so he can write like I do on the screen. In fact, this screen right here that I'm sharing is indeed my iPad, by the way. And it's just super easy to do these tutorials. Anyway, it's been really cool to see other people, now that they've been incentivized through my teaching and tutorials, to actually take action too. And now they're getting results as well. But they've needed some motivation, they needed some incentive, and that's where sort of I've popped in to not just provide the how-to, but the why-to, like April said too, which is pretty cool. I'm fairly late, but hello everybody. What's up, Danny? Good to see you here. Boom. Awesome. Let's keep going. So we talked about appeal. Then we talked about clarity, tone, incentive. Now we're on to O in our action acronym. And that is, and this is really important, an over-the-shoulder look, right? And you're literally looking over my shoulder right now in this image. And right now too. Just kidding. That was kind of weird. Anyway, I promise I won't do that again. Should never turn your back to the audience. That's one thing I've learned. Unless for dramatic entrances and jazz hands too. Anyway, over the shoulder is really important. That means people can watch you do something or watch somebody do something, so that what was it? Mirror neurons, right? I love mirror neurons. Mirror neurons are these things in our brain where when you see somebody else doing something, if it's interesting to you, you almost in your brain do it with them and want to do it too and want to achieve those same results. So you can use this brain psychology to your advantage by actually just showing people over the shoulder how something is done. But in addition to the how-to, if you can also show over the shoulder the future for them, what happens after you actually take action on this stuff. And again, that becomes the thread line all the way through. But if you have proof, if you have, some specific examples, for example, my over the shoulder look with that Ecamm tutorial that I shared earlier as an example was people looking at my desktop and getting access to what it might look like when they run their own live broadcast, and over the shoulder, how to add a comment onto a live stream like this. There we go. There is some strong coffee in Pat this morning. I got some sleep, y'all. That's exactly why. By the way, Maui. Woo. Jazz hands or spirit fingers? Is there a difference? I didn't know. I don't know. Anyway, thank you for noticing the energy. But y'all are giving me energy. Plus, this is a topic that I'm really, really interested in. And plus, I thought it would make sense for me talking about tone in a video about tutorial to have some energy and tone in here too. Because if I brought it like this, hey guys, today we're going to talk about tutorials. Some are long, some are short, but either way, they're going to help your audience. And I know sometimes it's just a drag to create these tutorials, and it's something that, it takes time, and it's often frustrating because you got to do screen recordings. You need like all these cameras so people can see what you're doing, and it's just... So let me show you today how we're going to create tutorials. If somebody's popping in right now, they're like, this is boring, I'm out. So anyway, I was just checking my numbers. I was like, did I have a whole bunch of people leave just now? Anyway, you got to bring the tone. You got to bring the energy. And I love bringing energy by bringing people over the shoulder, right? So, hey, here's how to do this. Let me show you, right? This is the difference of, you are going into a jungle with these people, right? And this world of online business, this world of anything that we're teaching is crazy, right? This jungle, right? This is the analogy. I don't know if this is going to work, but just hear me out. You're in this jungle together, right? And you're the leader. You're the authority here. You want to help people who are behind you, who you can guide them through this path. You want to blaze a trail for them, right? That's what we're doing with these tutorials. Hey, I've done this. Let me show you how to do it too. But if you don't provide an over-the-shoulder look, so if it's on video, literally screencast or showing people, like maybe it's a thing like, hey guys, here's how to use post-it notes, right? Look, post-it notes, appeal, clarity, tone, incentive, and I covered up the next one, which actually was I did that pretty well, right on the part. Anyway, no matter how it is, if you don't show over the shoulder, you're essentially in the jungle and you're like, hey yo, here's a machete, you do it. Like, I'm gonna tell you where to go. I'm gonna tell you that there's a Mayan temple right over there, but you have to go due west, 30 clicks, and then 100 clicks north after that. So here's the machete, go. Versus the approach that I like to take is, hey y'all, there's all this stuff here in the jungle. It's dangerous. I'm going to keep you safe. Let's go. You're back there. Come, follow me. Watch out, there's a line. Right? So we want to be the person with the machete who's blazing the trail for everybody. And we want to have people follow us. And the way you do that with tutorials, the way you keep people safe, the way you get people to go, oh my gosh, I need to follow this person. I feel safe here. And they protected me from lions. And they helped me discover a Mayan temple with treasure. And now we're splitting the Sometimes these analogies don't work, but sometimes they do. Analogies are great too. If you're teaching a tutorial, we as humans love analogies because they make things more relatable, right? And they help us remember things. They put context into something. So in a tutorial, if you're teaching something, that could work out really well. Whoosh, whoosh, says Ibrahim. Whoosh, whoosh. Okay, so yes, over the shoulder. Have people watch you do the thing, right? And if you can do this in a live setting, that's pretty cool too. But even if it's just a scripted video and you have a camera crew, or even if it's just you filming on an iPhone or whatever, having people see over the shoulder, awesome. If it's on a blog, just screenshots of the way that you do something, or all that stuff. Over the shoulder of how, and over the shoulder of, well, what happens when you do this, right? Cool. You're really getting into this. I am. Thank you. Did you know that your acronym is SLAB? Save like a bear. I like that. SLAB. Anyway, I don't know why I thought of that. Okay. So yes. Okay. This is good. This is good. So appeal, clarity, tone, incentive, over the shoulder, and really, really important, I'm laughing at April. This is the final one, next steps. So hey, y'all, you share the tutorial, you finish off with next steps. Here's where to go from here. This is where the guide in you actually comes into play. Because a blog post or a podcast or a YouTube video, that's you guiding people along. But this is where you actually guide people in their action, in their life, outside of this video or outside of this podcast or outside of this blog post, right? So, hey, y'all, this is what to do. And then here's what you do next. You've done this or you've seen the tutorial. Here's where to go from here. So 2 things. Number 1, after watching the tutorial, a call to action. That's essentially what this is. A CTA, a call to action to go do the thing, right? And if there so happens to be an opportunity to get into an affiliate link, awesome, right? Hey, here's the link, display it on the screen so that people click through, disclose that it is an affiliate link, which, by the way, you have to do because that's, FDA and usually worldwide. You have to disclose those affiliate relationships. But again, this is another reason why to do tutorials. Every tutorial becomes like a seed that you plant. Seed. And these seeds become things that can grow and sprout into a tree, and then you can eat the little leaves and the plants afterwards because they've sprouted into something delicious for you and everybody else. What is in me today? I think I'm just stoked that we had an amazing episode 100 this weekend. We played some games yesterday, and now I'm like stoked to go back into tutorial and to just sort of like teaching mode and coaching mode. Did I really just like eat my fingers? Okay, anyway, that was weird. Okay, anyway, I love tutorials, and when you provide great information, when you've provided those actionable steps and the breakdown, and you've made it easy and you've incentivized it for people, you got them excited, you had the great tone, you've showed people over the shoulder. Now, final step, remember, next steps, right? Boom. Here's where you go from here. First, if you want to get access to this tool, here's where you go. It's an affiliate link. You are definitely more than qualified to, at this point, provide an affiliate link for this thing. I would even provide it within the tutorial as well if it so happens that a person might need a software right before getting into something. You've earned it by creating this video or creating this tutorial so that people can now be incentivized to go through to help you and give you a little bit of a kickback, right? So that's key. But the other next steps is, okay, after you complete this tutorial, here's what to do next, right? And this is where, especially on YouTube, some really cool things come into play, right? So I can, for example, at the end of my About page video, in fact, I don't know if I even do this in the About page video. I'm curious to know where my next steps are. And this is an older video, so I don't know if I go back and, anyway, what I'm getting at is on YouTube specifically, you can create what's called an end screen. so that you can actually say the next thing that people can do in the future after creating the about page or the tutorial. So here's what I would recommend you do. So let's say I created this tutorial, which I did, about creating an about page, right? Then at the end of the video, okay, so make sure you do these 5 things and, check out the links in the description below to help you through some more of the complicated parts. But then after you create your about page, I want you to think about a brand new page, a new page that I think is the most important page on your website. To learn more about that page and your next steps after you finish your about page, click here, right? And then at the end of the YouTube video, you can click here. Or if at the end of the blog post, okay, after you're done with this thing, here's the next thing that you can get into, right? And this is where, especially on YouTube, where the algorithms kick in, this is where people go from one video to the next, into the next, into the next. Or they subscribe and go, okay, I'm not ready for that yet, but I'm gonna subscribe so I can come back to it later. Having people understand what's coming next, you have to do this. Let me know in the chat if this is sinking in for you and why it's important, because when you tell people what's coming next, they go, ooh, I wanna get there. I wanna go there. Or, oh, that sounds interesting, but I should do this first. So they take action, they probably rewatch the tutorial video. That's what I've loved about these videos. Have you ever noticed on TikTok that a lot of the videos you see on TikTok are indeed the tutorial videos about how to create a TikTok video? Chalene Johnson said recently that when people rewatch your videos on TikTok, at least, that more than anything helps you get found on TikTok, because it shows that your video is worthy enough for a repeat view. And of course, when you create a tutorial on TikTok about how to use TikTok, people on TikTok are going to continue to watch that over and over so they can create those same videos on TikTok, right? So these tutorials get people to rewatch them, right? And it's really exciting because you see your numbers explode when you do that. Well, the same kind of thing happens on YouTube. People watch the videos and they rewatch them and they rewatch them and they hear your voice again, or they get to know you more. They dive deeper into your blog or into your website. And then finally, the 4th time, they're like, okay, yes, I'm going to subscribe to this person's email list and go from there, right? So this is really, really key. Taking action is really important. I have to start watching TikTok more, however you spell it. TikTok. Yes, end screens are powerful time on YouTube, indeed. So at the end of your YouTube videos, okay, if you need more help with writing copy for your about page, click on this video here. If you are ready to move on to your next steps, click here. There is a channel that I follow called Minority Mindset, and it's an amazing channel where the host just talks a lot about finances. He's actually helping me, not personally, but through his videos. He's given me a tutorial on refinancing my home, which is literally what I'm in the middle of doing right now, which is really cool, saving me a ton of money. He's showing all these things in this tutorial, but then he goes, okay, and after you save money with your, after you refinance your home, watch this next video that's going to show you how you might be able to take some of this extra money and invest it into something that can help you pay your house down even further. So within the same topic, but now next steps after that's done, which is really cool. Oh yeah, how to start a podcast. Yo, I completely forgot about my absolute most powerful series of episodes or of tutorials here. Look at this. How to start a podcast. 1.1 million views. And this takes you into a playlist, in fact, where it will go through a number of different things. And I think I show up a few times here. Whoa, freshly cut hair there. Look at that. Another tutorial of mine. Another tutorial of mine. Yeah. So anyway, this podcasting, yeah, absolutely, right? And so I can show people, okay, this is what happens when you start a podcast, and now here are your next steps. Here's how to market your podcast, and this is where a lot of people now get into my 201 podcasting course from there. Took a breath, and we made it. We made it to the end, right? So those are the action items for you. Let me pop in here. So one more time. Boom. Action. Appeal. Clarity. Tone. Incentive. Over the shoulder. Next steps. Right? One more time. Appeal. Clarity. Tone. Incentive. Over the shoulder. Next steps. And that's your tutorial for the day about how to create amazing tutorials. Hopefully a tutorial that will bring more people into your brand, to help you get more exposure, to build more authority and expertise for people who you've already served and people who are going to find you for the first time as a result of these tutorials. It's hopefully going to help you make more money, perhaps through the tools and the software and the different kinds of products that you might be talking about in these tutorials. Hopefully it even helps and serves other people in a way that makes it easy for them to do something that they've been struggling to do. Remember, all in all, the most important thing here is we know that we're always serving our audience, and you need to do these things, these little tactics and these strategies, so that we can better serve our audience. And remember, your earnings are a byproduct of how well you serve your audience too. So you can do that through tutorials. People are looking this stuff up on YouTube and on Google every single day. How do I blank? How do I blank? Yesterday, I was doing something, I didn't know how to do it, and I looked it up on YouTube, and I'm a fan of this brand new channel. So it's about Teslas, actually. So anyway, that's our content for today. Also, before I let you go, and if you have any questions, be sure to type question in all caps and then your question in the chat. I might not be able to get to all of them, but I'll get through as many as I can in the last 5 minutes here. But I do have something to share. Today, I'm so stoked to announce a brand new thing that SPI has been working on for months that we're excited to come out with to help the community here. And this is something we like to call SPI Pro. SPI Pro. This is a brand new membership component on top of SPI. This is a safe place, an inclusive place for community members to come and connect. There is content in there, but it's not a content play. You can get content for free elsewhere on my website. You can also upgrade to more premium content elsewhere. This is a place for the community to connect, to take action with monthly challenges, with a book club where we're actually going to read books chapter by chapter together, where you can have access to myself and my team through Ask Me Anythings that are scheduled. And in the future, when we can meet in person, there's going to be events all around the world happening, whether they are close to home or not. They're going to be close to your home, and you'll be able to meet up with other community members too. This is something that's been a long time coming. And if you go to smartpassiveincome.com/pro, one more time, smartpassiveincome.com/pro, there should be an application page available. We are taking applications, and this is not a community for everybody. And the reason it's not is because if you are a complete beginner and you haven't started yet, this is not for you, because we need to get you started first. And my other tutorials, my courses, or whatever, there's so much free stuff that you can go to get started. That's what I recommend doing first. You need to get your legs going and get started first. But this is a community for committed entrepreneurs, whether you're making a ton of money or not. You need to have started, and you need to have commitment. And this is a place to filter people who we can all learn from each other, and we can help you and serve you too. So I'm so stoked about that. And we are opening up 500 spots for the founding members. And so if you go to smartpassiveincome.com/pro, you're going to see an application page, and that's where you can learn more about it and see if it's the right fit for you. If it's not, no worries. And through the application process, we have a very, very specific algorithm based on all kinds of things, from your current revenue to audience size to how long you've been a part of the brand. There's all different weights to different sorts of components. So yes, SPI Pro is going to be dope. We also have special deals and discounts in there. We have it's on a Circle platform, circle.so. So it provides the qualities of Slack in terms of communication, but also the ease of use of Facebook groups. And it's in our own controlled spot. And we are indeed hiring a community manager and all this stuff. Like, we're already in the process of that. This is a big deal. We're super stoked about it. The entire team's been on board, and for the last 6 months have been putting this together. So thank you for allowing me to share it with you, and more on that later. But thank you so much. You'll probably see an email, if you haven't already, later today about that from my team and I. So thank you, and super stoked about that. It should be really cool. Ilya says, question, can you actually apply action in a very technical video like formal education? Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, that's where the tone comes into play, related to, the professional. If it's for professionals, for example, you don't necessarily need to over-exaggerate things. You can just get straight to the point. And in fact, in all these tutorials, you don't want to spend too much time up front. Even with my slide deck tutorial that has 1.4 million views, I spent a little bit too much time in the intro talking about the history of PowerPoint and why things that were working were the way they were, but then changed and whatnot. Like, that stuff's not even necessary, really. But it still worked because I broke things down for people. But yeah, excuse me, absolutely. Ooh, gas. Okay. So I'd love for you to become a pro member if that's something that makes sense for the both of us. So anyway, thank you. Let's see, any questions that popped in. Looking All right. No questions there. It's fantastic. Very exciting. Cool. Will you grow the number of acceptable members at a later time? Yeah, we'll be taking new members in weekly, and it is first come, first serve based on application number. We actually do have a number. I believe during the process at some point after we let people in, if you are approved and you're on the wait list, you will know your number in line, and we're going to let more people in weekly, at least to start. Applications will be accepted through this next week. And then my team and I, my team is on vacation this week, in fact. They've been working so hard for this, so they're all taking this week off, like literally not even connected to the internet right now, as it should be. And mid-July is where we start with the founding group. Mid-July. Question, how do you get people's comments on the live chat up on the screen? Have you done a video tutorial on that, please? Yes, if you, so I'm using a tool called Ecamm Live, and in fact, I see all your comments here, and literally underneath every comment says add to broadcast. I just click on that, and it shows up on the screen. It's such a cool way to engage with the audience. Xenia Invada says, yo, Pat, how much money? Tell me. I think the price of SPI Pro that we finalized is $49 a month, $49 to $69 a month. So very reasonable, especially for the membership component and all these things. And in fact, a lot of these workshops that we've been doing and the future workshops that I'll be doing for the community, guess what? As a SPI Pro member, you get access to all of them for free. So that in and of itself would essentially pay for the membership. Question, can you actually apply action? Okay, we talked about that already. All right, yo, we are at the top of the hour, and awesome. Cool. Hey, y'all, thank you so much for today. Thank you so much for letting me share a little bit more about Pro with you, smartpassiveincome.com/pro. And again, it is an application process, 500 founding members on a first come, first serve basis if you qualify. And if you don't, we also have information. And we're not like, hey, sorry, you're not in, bye. We're like, hey, sorry, this isn't right for you right now, but here's some resources that can help you along the way. And this is kind of how we want to treat people, right? And so anyway, thank you so much for today. Take action, appeal, clarity, tone, incentive, over the shoulder, and finally, next steps. And your next steps are to take action on the next tutorial that you have coming out. And I want to wish you all the best. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you. And make sure to come back tomorrow, 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern, right here, patflynn.com/theincomestream. If you wanted to also follow me on Twitter and let me know how you felt about this particular tutorial, you can let me know on Twitter or Instagram at Pat Flynn. Would love to know what you think and what you enjoyed most. And chat, before you go, let me know what the biggest realization for you was in this particular tutorial about tutorials, right? A little bit of meta here. But let me know what the biggest realization was or the biggest tip for you was here in the chat. I'm gonna leave the chat open for just another minute so I can collect those. And I love to receive those because it allows me to understand when I repurpose this later. For example, if I were to create a YouTube video about this, I can sort of make sure I pull in a lot of those notes from you, the audience, which is, like I said earlier in the very beginning, connect with your audience, understand more about what works for them, what they need help with. That's where you start, you take action, and then you progress and move forward. And again, tomorrow, patflynn.com/theincomestream, another tutorial about something that will be helpful for you, and we'll have some fun. So thanks so much, everybody. I appreciate you. And one more time, that link to SPI Pro, if you want to check that out, smartpassiveincome.com/pro. Team Flynn for the win. I appreciate you. Bruh. Big bruh for everybody here. I appreciate you, and Team Flynn for the win. Peace out, y'all.
This is the income stream to help you achieve your dream, all while we keep it clean. This is the income stream. It's the kind of show where you can come and go, but then you leave inspired with no fee required. The income stream with Pat Flynn.
Good job, y'all. Thank you so much. And yes, I will be going live on Twitch with my kids later. Twitch.tv/hotcallsonly if you want to check that out. Hot calls only. Yeah. Twitch. Awesome. Love y'all. Peace out. Take care. See you tomorrow.
Bruh.